Welcome back to the Morning Blend. Cyber safety. Do you know if your child is doing things or seeing things online that aren't safe? Well, today we're going to help you protect them while they're using technology. Liz Repking is the founder and owner of a consulting business that provides interactive education all across the country to students, parents, and teachers about technology in today's world. Great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
This is such a scary topic because I think I'm like a lot of parents of my generation, our generation, where you didn't grow up with it. So you feel like you're behind the 8 ball all the time.
Yep.
Right? Do you hear that from a lot of parents?
I do. I think the greatest challenge for them is they're slightly intimidated. They're trying to parent on a topic that they feel like their children know 100 times more than them.
And they do, I think, in some cases.
So the most important thing is to find a way to start a conversation with your child where they feel safe. But a few things parents have to do that is they have to educate themselves so they can have the conversation and have some credibility with them.
And I think that there's a lot to that. Let's talk about the statistic that shows that 1/3 of all kids, so kindergarten through 12th grade in the United States, schools will be using school-issued devices. Because you think about the devices that they have in their hand or that are at home, but a lot of them are using technology at school.
Right, so they'll walk into school the first day. In some cases, the kids have access to Chromebooks or iPads while they're in school, typically in the younger grades. But as they get into middle school and high school, most schools are going to one-to-one programs. So they are handing kids devices for use 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. It has revolutionized their education experience because they have so much information at their fingertips and they're able to access things quickly. But with all that reward comes risks that we have to address as well.
Yeah, so let's talk about there are obviously advantages academically for students. You mentioned all the things that are right at their fingertips, but with that becomes these challenges. A lot of parents are going to the back to school events right now or curriculum nights or you walk through things with your kids. Are there certain things that they should be asking people, leaders at school, what questions they should ask?
There's some great questions to ask in those back to school nights. The first question they can ask is what safeguards are in place? What has the school done to make sure that when my child's using that device in school, whether they're in 2nd grade or 8th grade, their information is being kept private? And the second thing is how are they making sure that the kids can't access inappropriate content and everything is age appropriate for them?
Are there a lot of monitors that they put on it?
Yeah, they can do it all different ways. But the one thing to remember is that nothing is perfect. So when you do see your child on a site that they shouldn't be, you need to report it back to the school because they can block individual sites. There needs to be a partnership between the parents and the school, and that's why these back to school nights are great to have these conversations because it's so complicated that if they can team up, they can do a better job. Another question they can ask is, what is the school doing to teach them about digital citizenship? So the kids get how to navigate it. They are wired to understand the technology part, but what they don't understand is how to use these tools in safe and appropriate ways. What to do if they see another child being bullied online? What are their options? What should they do if someone's talking to them that they don't know? So they need a little bit of guidance on the soft skills that come with all this technology that they're using.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. A lot of times I think kids can get out of difficult situations if you just give them the words to use sometimes or what to ask in those cases. A lot of times, because you mentioned digital citizenship, there are these appropriate use agreements that often parents sign that the schools have to adhere to. How do schools handle violations?
Well, that's another really good question, is what will happen if my child violates it or my child is harmed by another child violating it? What are the consequences? So the consequences it depends on the school, it depends on the violation, and it can range anywhere from they take the device from them for a certain amount of time. They can be suspended from school. And if it's severe enough, in the case of cyberbullying, sexting is another really big issue, the police can be brought in for investigations because some of these things are actually crimes against kids.
I know, and they're so young, you hate to think about it.
Yeah, and what I hear from the kids, when I go in on the heels of one of those events, I'll sit down with the kids and I'll say, what was going on? And they look at me and they say, I never knew I'd get in so much trouble. So it's that conversation that we've really got to keep talking to them.